Is real estate coach Craig Proctor. How's everyone doing today? Thanks for being with me. We're going to talk about the number one reason, or reasons. I guess there's not one reason. There's many reasons why real estate agents fail, and how to avoid this or how to fix this. So many of you know when I got into to real estate, it was kind of by mistake. I dropped out of college, dropped out of university. The only reason I got into real estate because my dad was a real estate agent, and even my father at the time said, Craig, don't do it. Don't go into real estate. You're probably going to fail. And not because my dad wanted me to succeed, but he was very concerned that I would fail because I had basically failed at everything else, dropping out of college and university. I'd never sold anything in my life before, never sold anything. I had no marketing experience. So my dad's thinking, what chance does Craig actually have at succeeding in real estate? But being a young guy, I got into real estate anyway, and I realized how difficult real estate was. I realized that my father was right, that this is difficult, because I made the same mistake that most of us make when we get into real estate, which is I looked around at what all the other agents were doing, and I copied it, believing it was the thing to do. So here I am, not knowing anything other than what the other agents are doing in the office. So I find myself making cold calls, chasing FSBOs expired, sitting in open houses, doing floor time, all the dumb stuff they teach us to do. And I'm failing, and I'm thinking, I got to find something else to do. Now, my problem was I only had a high school diploma, so I really had nowhere else to go. At that point, I was sort of forced to figure out how to make real estate work for me. So luck would have it that I ended up being invited to a seminar about direct response marketing, and that really changed everything for me. So we're going to talk about some of the things I've learned during my journey. Some of you know the story. Within 3 years, I was the number one RE/MAX agent in the world. So that's a pretty big leap, right? Year number one, dumb as a pile of rocks. I think I sold maybe 10 or 15 homes. Not bad for my first year, but I didn't like it, almost made the decision to quit. To year 3, making millions of dollars a year and being named the number one RE/MAX agent in the world. So let's talk about some of the mistakes that agents make when they first get into the business, or even for veterans. Well, I've written some notes here. I'm going to try to make it fun here with some little post-it notes. And then I have a report, okay, about the reasons agents fail. I don't know if you guys can see that or not. I'll make that available to you. If you wait until the end of our conversation here today, I'll make this available so you can get all the information that we're talking about, because we don't want anyone to fail, right? We want you to be successful. Everyone deserves to be successful. It's a great business. Real estate, if you do it the right way, it's an awesome business. Pretty much everything I have in my life right now, as far as material things, came from real estate. But also, in addition to the material things, it's the person that you become along this journey. So I've coached, tens of thousands of agents over the last 25 years. And that's the cool thing about this. Yes, they become very successful financially, but the people that they become watching the changes, they have more confidence, they're happier, they've got a better lifestyle, they've got more time for their family and their hobbies. So that's really what this is all about. So nobody wants to fail. So let's go through some of the reasons why agents fail. And the first one, and I realize this is pretty cool, right? I've got unrealistic expectations, but do you notice I spelt unrealistically incorrectly? So you don't have to be smart to do this, but just notice that. But unrealistic expectations, that's one of the reasons agents fail. Had a friend of mine who got into real estate a couple years ago, and the reason he got into real estate is he had unrealistic expectations about what being a real estate agent was. And part of this was because he was watching all this reality TV, $1 million listing stuff. And he thought that that's what real estate was about. They make it look pretty glamorous, right? They make it look easy. So he thought selling real estate was about, driving luxury cars and going into luxury listings and, having a cocktail party and networking. He had a very unrealistic perception of what being a real estate agent was like. He didn't realize that it's not what they show on TV for most of us. That most of us don't get our business because we have a real estate television show. So he didn't last long in real estate. He was out of it, I think, in about 8 months. So a lot of people get into real estate thinking that this is easy. They have an unrealistic expectation about what selling real estate, what being a real estate agent is all about. The next one I have here is no plan. Okay, they don't have a business plan. See, in real estate school, they teach us, how to fill out the paperwork. They teach us all the rules and the regulations, and I'm not saying that that's not important, but when you get out into real estate after you get your license, most of us have no idea how to run a business. Okay, we don't have a business plan. So one of the things I help real estate agents with is I help them with a plan. So what is your goal? And then we reverse engineer your goal so you know exactly what you would need to do, not only every month, every week, but every day. Okay, so we have to have a plan if we want to be successful. Many real estate agents are kind of like a leaf in the wind. The wind blows this way, the leaf goes over here, the wind blows over here, the leaf goes over there. They don't really have a specific plan. They're basically reacting every day. They don't know what to do every morning when they wake up. The next mistake that agents make is a lack of good leads. Okay? They don't know how to get in front of good buyers and sellers. A lot of agents may falsely assume that there must not be very many good buyer or sellers out there because that's their experience, right? Because they don't have a good system, an effective system to identify and attract good buyer and seller leads. They just believe, well, I guess they don't exist. There can't be very many good buyers and sellers. The opposite is the truth. You have the ability to call out to the type of buyer and seller you most want to attract, and you can get them to come to you. Now, you also can do this without cold calling, door knocking. You can attract great business without doing open houses or floor time or all the stuff they teach us to do. You have to understand how to use smart, modern marketing. Really, marketing is simply this. We want to offer things that our prospects want. So I want you to think about who would your most ideal prospect be? Who would be your most ideal buyer or seller prospect? Okay, once we identify who it is that you most want to attract, then we can actually bait them. Okay, once we identify the prospect you most want to attract, we can bait them. We can offer them exactly what they want so they come to you. So a couple questions here, right? First of all, you've got to give some thought to, well, who would be my ideal prospect, right? And number two, what is it that they want? And then the third consideration would be, how are we going to deliver that offer? See, it's all about the offer. If you've got a weak offer, nobody's going to respond. So we teach you how to make strong offers to your ideal prospects. And then how are you going to deliver that offer? Are you going to deliver that online, offline? Is it going to be an offer that you make on Facebook, or is it going to be on Google? Are you going to use direct mail? So you got to have the right target market, you've got to have the right message or offer, and you've got to deliver that offer using the right media. I call this the Craig Proctor Triple M formula, and when you do this properly, you will attract droves of buyers and sellers. Okay? Remember, some buyers and sellers, like some buyers are better than other buyers and some sellers are better than other sellers. That brings me to my next point. Many real estate agents are operating in scarcity. Okay? What that means is because you don't have enough buyer and seller prospects coming at you, you have to work with everybody. Okay? Now we know that some buyers are better than others, some sellers are better than others, and if you don't have enough buyers to choose from, then you're operating in scarcity. Okay, that means you need to work with everybody. I've been there before. I know what that's like. I know what it's like to have to work with people that are not very qualified, or people that are not very motivated, or prospects that fight with you or lie to you and argue with you all the way through the transaction. I think most of you would agree, when you're working with a prospect that's not very motivated, they're not a good fit with you, it's a real drag, because you go home from a hard day of working with a bad prospect, and puts you in a bad mood, and you walk in the front door and your whole family knows, okay, he hasn't had a good day today, so even the dog knows, stay away. This should be about us making more money, but also enjoying what we do. Let me know in the comments if you believe that is true. Right? Life is short. We should get up every day and love what we're doing, and a big part of loving what we're doing are the clients that we attract. And for you to have the ability to actually repel clients that are not going to be a good fit. So I really see this as an important part of success. I want you to be able to attract buyers and sellers that are a really good fit, the kind of people that you love working with. And I want you to have the luxury of choice, of not having to work with people that fight you, people that lie to you, people that are going to be just a total drag all the way through the transaction. Because if this can happen, okay, you're going to make more money, you're going to get up every day, you're going to enjoy what you do. Now, the only way you can get to this point is we have to create a situation where you have more buyer and seller leads coming in than your ability to be able to work with them, right? So if you had too many buyers or you had too many sellers, you would actually have this luxury of choice that I'm talking about, right? What would you do if that was true for you? Okay, forget about how to do it for a minute, but assume that that was true for you right now. That every morning, if you were to wake up every morning and have more buyers and sellers than you could possibly work with, this is what I bet you would do. You would have this luxury of choice. You'd have the ability to say, well, you know what? Since I can't work with all the buyers and sellers, I am going to choose to work with the most motivated, the most sincere, the most ready to act buyers and sellers in my database. Not people that are going to fight me, okay? Not people that are going to lie to me. I don't have time for them. I don't have time to work with everybody. Therefore, I'm only going to work with the very best clients. Okay. Number next, no follow-up system. Okay, you can be really good at generating the leads, but if you suck at follow-up, it's all for naught. How many of you right now, let me know in the comments, struggle with follow-up? Wouldn't it be a beautiful world if every buyer and seller lead was ready to act now? Could you imagine how awesome that would be? If every buyer that you spoke to, every seller that you spoke to said, hey, come and get me. I'm ready to buy today. I'm ready to list my house today. But it's the opposite, right? A small percentage of the prospects we speak to every day are saying, come and get me right away. Most of the prospects are several weeks or even several months out. Of course, we want to be really good at converting the now business, but you also want to have a follow-up system that helps you convert the majority of the leads that the people you're going to speak to in your real estate career. These are future business prospects. So I teach you the scripts, the dialogues. Like, you need to know how to qualify the buyers and sellers, so you're not just setting an appointment with anybody. Like, we don't want to just set an appointment because we can. We only want to set an appointment when we should. So I help you become really skilled at what to do and what to say when you're speaking to buyers and sellers, so you can determine their motivation and their timing. Honestly, those are the two most important things that you want to know about any prospect, right? What is their motivation and what is their timing? And if they're motivated to act right now, you and I have to be able to communicate an amazing offer, right? We need to be able to communicate an offer that compels the buyer and seller to want to meet with us. The buyers and sellers are not going to meet with us just because we want them to meet with us, okay? We have to make sure that we're only making this offer to truly motivated buyers and sellers, and we have to be compelling so they choose to want to meet with us. And that brings us to the next step is once they do meet with us, the problem is most agents have a weak presentation. Okay? They've got a weak buyer presentation or no buyer presentation at all. They've got a weak listing presentation. Do you see how many parts of this that are important? No wonder so many real estate agents fail. I think according to the NAR, it's something crazy like 80% of people that get into real estate do not make it to their 5th anniversary. Okay, so look at all the points we've talked about so far. We've talked about they start with unrealistic expectations, that they don't have any plan, that they've got a lack of good leads. Okay, they've got no follow-up system. They're operating in scarcity, and they've got a weak presentation. You really have to get all this dialed in if you're going to optimize your success in real estate. So how did I come up with my listing presentation? By doing it incorrectly for many, many years. Yeah, what happened was when I started presenting to sellers, I had no idea. How many of you are with me? You can relate to that? Kind of fake it till you make it. So basically my listing presentation sucked in the beginning. And then after lots of trial and error, right, some of the words that came out of my mouth were actually well received. And then other things I tried fell on deaf ears. So over years of testing, different approaches and saying different things to sellers, I finally was able to put together a pretty effective presentation. And then over the years, it just became better and better and better. So this is what I teach real estate agents. I teach them basically what not to do, all the stuff that I did earlier in my career, and then how I perfected the language. Let me give you an example of something in my presentation that I developed that worked really well. So I realized that the number one thing that sellers want is sellers want buyers. So one of the things that I would do during the listing presentation is prior to the presentation, I would print out of from my CRM all the buyers that I had in the price range of the home I was hoping to list. So if the house was $1 million listing, I would bring a printout. So imagine this is my printout here of all the buyers that I have that are currently looking for $1 million home. And next to it would have the name of the buyers and how many weeks I've been working with them. And I would hand this piece of paper to the seller. And I would say, Mr. and Mrs. Seller, because usually we're presenting to husband and wife, Mr. and Mrs. Seller, I took the liberty before our meeting here to print out a list of all the buyers I'm currently working with that are looking for a home in your price range. Now, should you decide to work with me, one of the first things that I would do is I would email detailed information and pictures of your home out to the buyers on my list here. This is my buyers in waiting program. And Mr. and Mrs. Seller, sometimes, I get a hit right away. Sometimes we get multiple buyers that are interested in your property. So that creates sort of an auction effect. So we sell your home not only quickly, but for the most amount of money. So I know it sounds kind of crazy, but it's almost like I've been looking for a buyer for your home before you and I even met today. And I would watch the seller and they would be looking at my list and they'd be like, well, that's pretty cool. And then I'd say something like, hey, you mentioned that you had been speaking to a couple of other realtors. Did the other two realtors you meet with, did they talk to you about how many buyers they currently had for your property? And they'd say, no, Mr. Proctor, all the other realtors wanted to talk about is, should we list with them what they would begin to do, what they would start to do as far as marketing to try to find a buyer for our home? So the point has been made, right? Craig is the agent that has all the buyers. The other agents they're speaking to, all they wanted to talk about is what they'd begin to do, what they'd start to do to try to find a buyer. So that's just an example of some of the techniques that I created over 20 years and tens of thousands. I think I sold 10,000 homes. So I don't know how many listing appointments I went out on, but my listing presentation became so dialed in that basically I was converting 9 out of every 10 sellers. I didn't get them all. And honestly, the 1 out of 10 that I didn't get was probably a seller I didn't want. Either, our personalities didn't jive or they were unrealistic with their price. Very few of them were not motivated because remember, earlier I said, I am qualifying these sellers over the phone very effectively, so I'm not meeting with sellers that aren't motivated. Right? If you're going out on listing appointments where the seller is not motivated, then it's kind of your fault, right? Because you're there, and if you're the one that booked the appointment, then you've got to fix that. Now, if you have inside sales agents that are booking you unqualified appointments, you need to fix them because your time is valuable, right? You don't want to book a listing appointment just because you can. You only want to book a listing appointment because you should. Okay, let's get back to our list here. Let's assume that I coach you up on all this. And because that's what I do, right? Everything that we're talking about here today, this is what I do for a living. This is what I've been doing I sold real estate for 25 years, became one of the top RE/MAX agents in the world. And for the last 20 years, my dual track record has been teaching other agents how to do what I do, right? How to make millions of dollars selling real estate or bring your business up to the level that you want. I understand not all of you want to make $1 million a year, but it's kind of funny when I'll talk to an agent and I'll say, I help agents become millionaire agents. That means $1 million in GCI every year. Some realtors will say, well, I really don't want to make $1 million a year. And I'll say, well, why? Did you try it and you didn't like it? I mean, it's ridiculous. Look, I was not doing well when I got into real estate. I was struggling. I had financial problems, and I can tell you, life is easier when you're doing well. Okay, so you can do a lot more good with money. Would you guys agree? You can do a lot more good with money than without money, and it will actually give you more confidence. It'll give you more security. Don't have these negative thoughts about money. Many of us have a bad relationship with money. I talk about paradigms and how we're raised and what we believe and how we see the world. So a lot of my work with real estate agents is helping them work on the head stuff, right? Believe it or not, so much of our success is just about how we think about things. And you may not realize this, but your paradigm, your paradigm controls how you think about things, and what you think about obviously controls what you do, and what you do controls the results that you get. And this paradigm is formed early on in life. It's how you were raised by your parents. It's your first day of school. It's your experience all the way through elementary school and high school. It's all your first day in real estate, all the jobs you had, all the things that you've done in your life form this paradigm, okay? Some of you right now may be already judging some of the things that I'm talking about here today, and you don't even know you're doing it, right? Look, this is why if we go to another country and somebody says, hey, would you like to try this food? And we might say, well, no, I don't like that food. And they would say, well, have you ever tried it before? Well, no, I've never tried it before. They would say, well, how do you know you don't like it? And you might say, well, I just know I don't like it. You see, who even decided the food that we eat? Was it your parents, your grandparents? We'd have to go way back on your family tree just to understand why we even eat the food that we eat. So when we get into real estate, we have these blinders on, this way of thinking about things. And then what makes it worse is we look around at what all the other real estate agents are doing, right? That's the natural thing, the mistake that we all make. We don't know what the hell we're doing. We look around at what everyone else is doing. They're all doing it we look at them, we say, they're all miserable too. I guess this is how we sell real estate. We go out and we knock on doors and we make cold calls, or we spend thousands of dollars buying stupid leads from Zillow or a realtor. And we have to sift through hundreds of unqualified buyers and sellers just to find a good one now and then. Folks, it doesn't have to be that way. The next thing I want to talk about, even if you're successful at all this stuff that we've talked about so far, trying to do everything by yourself is a drag. There's a limit to what any one of us can do. Even if you're successful as a solo agent, even if you're successful at doing it the old school way, you're doing 20 or 30 or 40 or 50 transactions, at some point, this strategy of you trading your time for money, the strategy falls apart, right? It's not scalable. As long as your business, and I shouldn't even call what you have a business, because for most of you, it's a job, right? A business means it works without you, right? But if your job as a real estate agent relies on you, at some point you're going to run out of time, right? You trade 6 days or 7 days, you start working 12 hours a day. There's a limit to how big or how effective you can grow your business without leverage. So I teach you how to not only leverage yourself with marketing, but that just makes you busier, right? I teach you how to leverage yourself with technology, and that'll help you grow your business. But eventually what you want is a real business. And the only way that you're going to have a real business that's scalable is to start to replace you with other people. So the first thing that I did is I hired an administrative person, and her name was Linda. And I gave Linda all the activities that didn't require a real estate license. So like an idiot, like I was running around, taking pictures of houses. I thought I was the only one that could take a picture of a house. I thought I was the only person that could get a key cut at Home Depot. I thought I was the only one that could make feature sheets. Dumb, right? So what I started to do is I delegated every activity that didn't require a real estate license. And I think that was in year 2. I go up to like 55 transactions, just me and one assistant who is unlicensed. My big breakthrough, though, was when I started hiring licensed agents. And believe it or not, I was the OG. I was the original on team building. Correct me if I'm wrong, but to the best of my knowledge, I was the first licensed real estate agent to hire other licensed agents when I was not a broker owner. Okay, I never had a broker's license. To me, why would I want a broker's license? The broker, gets broker and broker. The broker, that's not where the money is. The money is in being a real estate agent and growing the team out. So I'm a licensed agent here at the RE/MAX office, and eventually I've got 12 licensed agents working on my team. I'm doing over 500 transactions a year, and this thing has nothing to do with me. That's pretty cool, right? So I'm making more money than I've ever made before. And I'm not meeting with any of the buyers. I'm not meeting with any of the sellers. I'm not talking to anybody. My job now is working on the marketing and recruiting and training my team members. So see, I move up the ladder from the guy that's door knocking and doing it all by themselves, getting the keys cut and taking pictures of the house and doing all the paperwork. Now I'm the owner of the enterprise. Right? I have a business that works, so I can go on vacation. In fact, by the time we get to, what year is this? I think 2007, 2008, RE/MAX had invited me to be their keynote speaker in Sarasota, Florida. So the RE/MAX region was getting together in Sarasota, Florida to have this great big meeting for all the RE/MAX agents. And because I was the top RE/MAX agent in the world, and they liked it because I was young and hadn't been doing it that long, so I was kind of like their poster boy, they invited me to come and speak. So I bring my wife. I said, hey, we're going to go to Florida to this event. She's like, great. So while I'm doing this keynote speak for RE/MAX, my wife is running around looking at houses with one of the RE/MAX agents, and we ended up buying a house in Sarasota, Florida, right on the water. So because my business was on autopilot, we just decided to move there. My kids were young. We decided to move there. We lived there for 3 or 4 years. And the crazy part is, the first year that I lived in Sarasota, I was still the #1 RE/MAX agent, and I wasn't even in the area, right? I was down in Florida. So that's just proof that you can actually create a business that runs without you. Now, maybe you're not going to move completely out of your city like I did, but think about, even if it worked partially as good as the way I'm describing it, it would allow you to, I don't know, go to Hawaii or wherever you want to go to take some time off and have a life. And really, isn't that our goal in real estate? Don't we want to build an enterprise that makes our life better. Because if you don't do this the right way, as you found out, real estate can consume your life. Okay, so even though we all get into real estate because we want more freedom, for most real estate agents, it's a bit of a success trap. Okay, we've either got agents that never become successful, which is a problem, or you become successful and you don't understand how to leverage yourself, and now your business consumes your life, right? So I learned the hard way that what I was doing was not sustainable, right? I projected myself into the future. I'm like, hey, I'm a young guy, but I don't want to live like this. I see all these other guys at the RE/MAX office that have been here for 20 or 30 years, and they're all divorced and they're unhappy. It's like, I don't want to be that guy. So I needed to figure this out. Okay, here's the next one. And by the way, thanks for hanging in. Let me know in the comments if you guys are enjoying this. Maybe you could, I was going to say smash the like button. Maybe smash the love, the little heart button, if you're enjoying our talk here today. Because I'm not here to sell you anything. I'm just here to share with you my experience in real estate. And I hope that you find this extremely helpful. If you do find it extremely helpful, smash the heart button or the like button. And make sure you turn on notifications, so whenever I go live, you'll know about it. Also, let me know what city, what marketplace you're in, because I do get a lot of referrals. We had one the other day. I didn't have anybody in Indianapolis, and we had a realtor in Indianapolis, and I was able to send them a referral. So I've got a huge network of agents. Don't be shy. You're listening to me right now because we've been at this now for about 30 minutes. So if you've been watching this the whole time, you're here for a reason. Make sure that you let us know who you are and where you're from. Just type that into the comments, what city you're from, and we'll see if we can get some networking and some referrals going back and forth. The next thing I want to talk about is technology. Some of us are afraid of technology. However, technology done properly is going to serve us. It's going to be one of the major ways that we're going to be able to leverage our business. And don't let technology freak you out. I know some of you are very comfortable with technology, and then others are like it freaks you out. Look, the way I want you to think about technology is the fact that you don't have to understand how it all works. What you need to do is understand how technology is going to help you, okay? I don't know, let me give you a stupid example. Okay, so if I stick my key in my car ignition, okay, I put my key in my car ignition and I turn the key. How many of you with me right now even know how that works? I don't know how it works. Put my key in the ignition, I turn it and the car starts, right? I don't care how it works. I just want to know that when I put my key in the ignition and I turn it, the car starts. That's the attitude that you want to have with technology. So for example, a lot of my members are running ads on social media. They're running ads on Facebook and Instagram, and they've created this amazing omnipresence. And some of my members do not run any of the ads themselves. They have some of them will have their teenage son or daughter or nephew or niece run the ads. In fact, running the ads is not dollar productive. Okay, running the ads is not. I'm going to tell you a story that'll probably blow you away. So all these 25 years I was in real estate, top RE/MAX agent in the world, do you know that I was never once, not even once, on MLS? I was never on MLS. I didn't even know how to go on to MLS. I had people do it for me. First of all, when I started in real estate, we had MLS books. There was no online MLS. That's how long I've been doing this for. But for all those years, and many of you spend so much time doing things that you shouldn't be doing, right? What are your true rainmaker activities? What is a rainmaker? A rainmaker does what makes a difference. So you should be writing down what you do all day long. Imagine if you actually did that. Imagine if you had like a digital watch, and every 15 minutes, the digital watch goes beep, and then you're forced to write down what you're doing. And then to the right of that activity, what is that activity worth, right? Should you be involved in that activity? If you did this exercise, you would find that a lot of the stuff you're doing should be delegated, including running your ads. Now, that doesn't mean delegating. It means delegating, not abdicating. Let me talk about the difference. You have to be your own marketing director. How many of you would agree that our number one function as a real estate agent is not actually being a real estate agent at all? Our number one function is being a marketer first. Okay, someone type that into comments, being a marketer first. Because it doesn't matter how skilled you are as a real estate agent. You can be the best negotiator, you can be the best realtor, the most experienced realtor in the world, but if you don't have a steady stream of clients, you're going to starve to death. And in fact, there's a lot of really highly qualified, skilled realtors. They're skilled at being a realtor. They're great negotiators. They're great with people, and they're not doing very well right now because they don't understand the marketing. And we could flip that around. The opposite is true. How many of you are annoyed by the fact that there's some realtors in your marketplace that aren't as good as you? They're not as good as you. They're not a very good realtor. They're not as good as you. However, they're doing better than you because they understand digital marketing. Okay, because they understand how to market themselves. So that's the first place that we would work on. If you were working with me, we would work on how are you attracting customers? Are you attracting the right type of clientele? Okay, because there's a difference between just attracting anybody and attracting the best people. If you want to become rich in real estate, you need to master lead generation. You need to learn how to attract the right people. And then you've got to figure out, how can I do this inexpensively? How can I do this automatically? How can I scale this up so I have a ton of business coming in? And by the way, when you have a ton of business coming in, do you know how easy it is to build your team? How many realtors in your marketplace, if you were to call them and be able to say, hey man, I've got an overflow of listing appointments, I've got an overflow of buyers, would you like to come over here and work with me? How many of them would say, yeah man, I'm open to a conversation? In the beginning, you could just refer them the business, and after you prove to them you've got a lot of business, then they have to formally join up on your team. Okay? And what'll happen is, one person, the first person you hire will become really busy, and then you'll hire a second person. It'll be easy to hire the second person, by the way, because you're going to be able to point at the first person and say, look at how well they're doing. First buyer agent I hired, this is the truth, and this is from a long time ago. The first buyer agent I hired, her name was Lindy Black, and in her first year working with me, she made $250,000 in her first year. Now, we were on a 50-50 split, so that really means she made $500,000 in her first year. She'd only been licensed for a couple years. But I had the thing that she wanted. She was a good agent, but she didn't have the leads. So I had the leads. And so, shortly into this, a year or so, all of a sudden, now she can't keep up with all the business. And I hire my second outside sales agent and then my third outside sales agent. Why don't we push ourselves to the limit? Why don't all of us want to be all that we can? And here's the reason. Many of us stay inside of our comfort zone. Okay? What is the comfort zone? Look, I understand many of you are doing okay. So how can I describe this? You've got a nice warm bed to sleep in. You've got a roof over your head, you've got food in the refrigerator, and you might say to yourself, well, why would I want to change this? Things are going pretty well. The problem is if you become satisfied with the status quo, then you're not pushing yourself to be all you can be. And that would be sad, because I believe we all have infinite potential. I think we're all born rich. Some of us are lacking a little bit of money, but we're all rich. We're all born rich with talents and abilities. Like, look at my story. I failed at doing this, and I failed at doing that. And the only reason I got into real estate is because my father was a real estate agent. I had no money. I had no confidence. I'd never sold anything in my life. I knew nothing about marketing. But real estate gave me an opportunity to reach my potential. And I don't think we ever fully reach our potential. Every day I try to wake up and challenge myself to do better today than I did yesterday. And we should all want that. So that's the greatest gift I can give all of you, anybody that wants to work with me, is I will help you reach your full potential. Okay, because I think we're just scratching the surface right now on what you can accomplish, what you can achieve here in the real estate industry. Okay, the next thing I've got, and we're getting to the end here, is copying the wrong people is a mistake. You might think, well, I don't want to copy anybody, but the truth is all of you right now, whatever you're doing, you didn't learn it, right? You didn't invent it. You copied it from somebody else, right? So whatever you're doing right now, you already copied it from somebody else. The question is are you copying the right thing, right? Is your strategy, whatever you're doing now, whoever you copied it from, it might be your broker owner, it might be another agent in your marketplace. In the beginning, I copied what my dad told me to do. I copied what the other agents were doing. We've got to question, who are we going to follow? Who's going to be our mentor? Everybody successful has a mentor. Like, there's nothing really new in the world, right? Everything that you want to do in real estate is already being done by thousands of Craig Proctor members. Why would you want to try to invent anything yourself when everything that you want to do is already being successfully done? So honestly, if you want to take a massive shortcut, be very particular at who you take advice from, who you're modeling your career after. Okay, now I will spend time with you. If you like my approach and you think what we've been talking about today is kind of cool, why don't you book a call with me? Okay, it's free of charge. I will not try to sell you anything. I'll just have a conversation about you and your business, and you can talk to me about how you're doing it and where you want to go, and I'll give you my advice. I'll give you my honest advice on what I would do if I was you. And if you find our conversation helpful and you'd like to work with me on a longer term basis, that would be great. If you don't find our conversation helpful, if what we talk about doesn't blow you away, then you just keep doing whatever you're doing. There's no cost, there's no downside to having a conversation. If someone could type into the comments, proctorcall.com. Okay, so my name here, proctorcall.com. That'll be a clickable link. If someone can type that into the comments, proctorcall.com. And when you go there, when you click on that link, you'll go to my calendar and you can pick a day and a time, and we'll have a conversation about your business. And we'll talk in more detail about you. Okay, specifically you, your marketplace, what's going on, what you've tried, what's working, what's not working, what your goal is for your business. Now, here's the thing. You probably, you know where you are in your business right now, and you know where you want to go. My question would be, well, why aren't you doing it? If you know where you want to go, why aren't you already doing it? Well, because there's an obstacle, right? There's things that are holding you back, things you don't know how to do, or maybe the problem is just things that you do know how to do. Maybe you're locked into some old paradigms. Maybe you're locked into, you ever have this happen before? I'm sure you have, where you see something today so clearly that you didn't see maybe a couple of years ago. That happens to me all the time, that you just didn't see it. You just didn't see it. Maybe 5 years ago, whatever, you just didn't see the opportunity. And then all of a sudden, you see it so clearly. I think that's what a conversation with me could help you with. Help you to see what you can't see. It doesn't mean like you're not smart or any of that. It's just we get locked into seeing the world a certain way. And having a conversation with me, I would just ask you a bunch of questions about how you're doing things and why. And then I would say, hey, have you ever thought about this? Have you ever thought about doing this? And I will open your eyes to new and better ways of doing this, right? And if not, didn't cost you anything, right? Spend a half an hour with me, and I believe I can open your eyes and help you get to that next level. Okay, now, what I've done is I've put together this report, okay, on the number one reason. That should say reasons, really, because there's not one reason. There's a whole bunch of different reasons why agents fail. So you can see here on all my sticky notes, all I did is I've taken from this report everything that we talked about today. So there is 1 page, 2 pages, 3 pages, 4 pages, and then the last page is this. It's your 15-point business autopsy. So here's where I ask you a bunch of questions. I don't know if you guys can see this. And then I'm asking you to rate between 1 and 4, between needs improvement and doing great. If you would like to get this for free, it's my gift to you. just type into the comments bonus gift. Okay, type into the comments below bonus gift, and I'll get this to you. So this just discusses in more detail what we've been talking about today. And then at the very end, the last page has this business analysis. Okay, this autopsy where you're going to rate yourself and your business on all these different areas. And I think it's going to be, you'll find it extremely helpful. So just type in bonus gift into the comments, and Mickey from my team, Miki, will follow up with you, and we'll make sure that we can get that out to you. Now, I do these every single week, but I also have a private Facebook group that you folks might be interested in. The benefit, like this is, right now we're on my business page. So you're not a group member, likely, if you're watching this right now. But how many of you might be interested in actually, for free, joining up with my private Facebook group? And we give free courses away. I give you basically a lot more than what we're talking about right here. If you'd like to be in my private Facebook group and also network with the Craig Proctor Millionaire, these are agents that are making over $1 million a year. Now, that doesn't mean you have to make $1 million. It just means you want to make $1 million a year. Then I want you to join my private Facebook group. It's Rich Agent Secrets. Rich Agent Secrets. So someone maybe can type that into the comments below, Rich Agent Secrets. Or if it's easier, just type into the comments below private group. Okay, private group, and we'll get you the link. And it's by invitation only. You can click on the link, go to Rich Agent Secrets, and then answer the intake form, the questions. We just want to make sure you're a real estate agent and that this is the right group for you. And then I'll let you into the group. Right now, I think we've got about 4,000 members in Rich Agent Secrets. So this is my own my personal Facebook group that I'm inviting you all to be part of. So look, again, if you liked this, you could do me a huge favor. If you could give me the thumbs up, like hit the blue thumbs up button, or even better, the heart button. I'll tell you why that's important. The more likes I get, the more little hearts I get, the more interactions we have here on Facebook, and the more realtors will see this video training. Okay, that's how Facebook works, right? You have to understand the algorithms inside of Facebook. So, the more interactions you get, the more people will see your videos. Now, I want to show you how to do what I've just done here. Now, I want you to think about what I've done here today. Did this cost me anything? No, this didn't cost me anything. So I was able to make a presentation to you, and it cost me $0. And everybody that's watching this now, okay, Facebook knows who you are now, and now I can deliver future videos to you. Okay, so I don't know perhaps I don't know your phone number, I don't know your email address, but Facebook now knows who you are, so I can deliver great content. And so you got to, if this is your first time, hearing from me, you got to kind of know me and know my personality, and hopefully you're thinking, okay, Craig's got some great stuff. Why don't we teach you how to do this for your clientele? Okay, like traditionally, the way this works in real estate is we generate the lead first, and then we call a bunch of leads, and we try to get in front of the seller so we can give the seller a listing presentation. What if we went directly to the seller on video like we're doing here with all your benefits? So basically, it's like you're doing your listing presentation before you meet with the seller. Okay, would that work for you? If more sellers and more buyers in your area knew your personality and they understood the benefits that they would derive from working with you, if they knew what made you different and better, you could do this for free. Just like I'm doing it right now. I would teach you your social media strategy so people in your area would know you, they would like you, they would trust you, they would see you as the expert when it comes to buying or selling real estate. And now everywhere they go, whether it be on Facebook or Instagram or YouTube, they're going to start to see you. So obviously, it's very difficult for someone to do business with you if they don't know you. But knowing you alone is not enough. It's a great start. but I want to teach you how to differentiate yourself from all the other real estate agents and create this massive awareness, this what we call top of mind consciousness. So in your community, when buyers and sellers think of real estate, they immediately think of you first, but also they understand what makes you different and better than the other agents. So what happens is they start to call you. Nothing's better, right, than the come list me. Isn't that better than maybe what some of you are doing right now? Some of you are paying Zillow or Realtor all kinds of money to generate basically what are scraped leads, right? Just because somebody goes onto Zillow and looks at a house doesn't mean they're a qualified buyer. And the problem is Zillow and Realtor, they're selling these leads not just to you, but to a whole bunch of other agents. And when you call the prospects, they don't want to hear from you, right? You're an unwanted call. Look, even as real estate agents, we don't like it when people call us. And we're real estate agents. We have to accept their call because that's how we attract business. Today, sellers are able to just block you, right? Like on your phone, how many of you right now on your phone is set up so it's only going to ring if that person is in your contacts? All right, so if the prospect's phone is set up that it's only going to ring if you're already a contact in their phone, that means you can call them all you want and they're not going to answer. That's why reverse prospecting, what I teach, is so important today. Instead of you chasing them, wouldn't it be better if on the strength of your marketing, if I could teach you how to get them chasing you? That's the difference in positioning between being an annoying pest and instead being the most welcome guest. Does everybody see the difference? Most real estate agents are chasing. There's an old saying, a prospect pursued runs away. And the harder you chase them, the faster the prospect runs. Instead, let's not do what everyone else is doing. Let's learn smart modern marketing. Let's use science and logic and make good decisions and understand who is it in your community that you most want to attract. Let's use the right bait, the right offer to compel them to want to contact you. Let's create a situation where they see you as different and better. And everywhere they go, they see you. And now the key is, how do we do this inexpensively? Again, this video you're watching right now cost me $0. You're going to be hearing from me again and again just because you've watched this. How many of you you're in the Craig Proctor vortex? You see my stuff all over the place. Let's do this for you and your business. Book a call with me now. Go to proctorcall.com. Let's have a conversation about you and your business and where you want to take this thing and see if we can help you further. I want to thank you so much for watching this and spending the time with me. I really do appreciate you spending the time that you have spent with me here today. I hope you found it extremely helpful. This is Real Estate Coach Craig Proctor. You have a great day. Thank you very much for watching. Hi, this is Craig Proctor. Hey, I really hope you enjoyed that video. And listen, I've got a lot more information for you to help you grow your real estate business. You see, several times a week, I record new videos and I load them onto this YouTube channel. What I'd like you to do, if you'd like to access them, are two important things, and both are totally free. Number one is I'd like you to subscribe to this channel. You're going to see a little subscribe button for you to click on. And if you don't already have an account with YouTube, it's free for you to set it up. It's really easy, it's free, but you've got to subscribe to this channel. And the most important thing is to ring the little bell right next to the subscribe button. And that's going to let you know every time I load new money-making videos to help you grow your real estate business. So make sure you subscribe right now, you ring the little bell, and we'll see you on the next video.